Today we're going to be rating every TIE fighter. We're going to be rating the TIE Advanced, the TIE Fighter, the TIE Bomber and the TIE Interceptor. These are all from the Galactic Empire period. We will be rating the same as we did with the Rebel ships, their efficiency against Rebel fighters and their efficiency against Rebel cruisers. Hope you enjoy. We'll get on. We'll start with the TIE Advanced. First up is the TIE Advanced, or Darth Vaders TIE Fighter. Instead of having flat, straight solar panel-like wings, its wings are folded in. They are permanently folded like that to give them more agility. Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, or the TIE Advanced, is pretty much the same as a normal TIE Fighter. It does not have any pluses or downs. It just looks a tiny bit different, and it is a tiny bit quicker. But it does not have any upgrades in the cannons or stuff like that. Its rating against fighters, as we see, is more normally because of Darth Vader is flying it and he's the best pilot, or Anakin is. So we will be rating it as if a TIE Fighter pilot was flying it. It's pretty much the same as a TIE, so it gets blown up pretty quickly, but it would take out one or two fighters. This will get around the same rating as the TIE, but I give it a rating of 5.5 against fighters. Next up, we'll rate it against cruisers. Darth Vader's TIE Fighter is also very effective against cruisers such as TIE fighters. If you watch Rebels Season 2, Episode 2, Darth Vader severely damages the Rebel command cruiser, and they have to evacuate. Therefore, it will be getting a good rating for a TIE Fighter. Against cruisers, its rating will come up to 3.5 for efficiency against cruisers. Next, we'll move on to the TIE Fighter. Next, we have the TIE Fighter. The TIE Fighter is the most common and most produced of all of the fighters. It is quick but slow at the same time, the second slowest only to the TIE Bomber. It is quick and can take out plenty of fighters at once, which is why it gets a 5.5 rating against fighters. Against cruisers, it is not ideal for it to be swinging out and in between blaster fire, but it can still pack a punch when it hits a few shots, which is why it gets a 3 for its efficiency against cruisers. Next, we have the TIE Interceptor. Next up is the TIE Interceptor. More commonly seen in Rebels, this has 2 blaster cannons, same as TIEs, on the ball. But on the tip of each wing, it has its more predominant used blaster cannon. It is fast and agile and was made and didn't start production until after the TIE fighters, so it was a bit more advanced than the normal TIEs. It is quite agile and outspeeds most of the Rebel fighters, and with its blaster cannons, like the X-Wing, is very efficient against Rebel fighters, which is why I will be giving it a 7.5 against fighters. Its score against cruisers is also very good. If you see the episode where Sabine tries and rescues Wedge and the other kid from the Imperial TIE Fighter Academy, you can see that the TIE Interceptor does a lot of damage to the cruising corvette that Ezra and Kanan fly in to try and get Sabine out, which is why I will give it a 3.5 against cruisers. Next up, we have the TIE Bomber. This will be one of the most efficient against cruisers, but yet so bad against fighters. Last but certainly not least, the TIE Bomber. The TIE Bomber will start with the cruisers because this is the one it is most effective against. It has very powerful energy bombs and can super damage cruisers. Cruisers do not stand a chance against these bombs, and with shields down, these energy bombs will destroy cruisers in a couple of runs. I give them their score against cruisers a very high score, but yet very honourable score of 5. It is very effective, but yet is a very slow fighter, and its slowness will come into factor when it is versing fighters. Due to the fact that they've high produced of fighter TIE Interceptors and TIE Fighters, it does not have many guns. I don't think it has any. So therefore, the only way of destroying fighters really is to take it out with its bombs, and it's very hard to hit a X-Wing going at 100 million miles an hour with a bomb. This is why I give it a rating of 0.5 against fighters. That's it for all the ratings. I'll have a little picture come up in a sec of what each fighter got from me. Leave which fighter you think is the best in the comment section below, and triple it out.